So I'm delighted to introduce to Sportuccino, all the way from Johannesburg, Africa, South Africa even. It's the Soccer Laduma journalist, Joe Crann. Joe, welcome to Sportuccino. Huge weekend of sport, huge weekend of football. Was there any particular highlights for you?
I think as a Sheffield Wednesday fan, I like anything to do with an underdog. So I think the Bournemouth Liverpool story is fantastic. I think just everything about it was great. I mean, that game kind of sums up the Premier League for us. I think it's one of the reasons why people love the division so much. I mean, 3-1 down, winning 4-3 in the last minute, and I think there was also the added aspect of the way Jurgen Klopp sort of responded to the whole thing, going off and hugging the Bournemouth players and talking about how well they played and giving them all the credit. And I think you look at that in contrast to what you get from Mourinho. There's just shows I think the likability level of Klopp and Mourinho and why it does differ so much.
Yeah, he didn't seem very happy when Fellaini came on and gave away that penalty, as he shouldn't be, really. Yeah, United there dropping points again late on. What did you make of the City versus Chelsea game?
It was a bit fiery, wasn't it? No, I think when you've got two coaches like that, I mean, two superb coaches with Conte and Guardiola, there was always going to be a little bit of going to be a bit more than just a game of football. I think that there's such a backstory there, such a subplot that it was going to be a great game, and I think that the interesting thing there was just how far it did get. I mean, obviously we saw the Aguero tackle, we saw the little bit of handbags at the end between Fernandinho and Fabregas, and it was a game that I don't think anyone expected to go 3-1. I think it was expected to be a little bit closer than that. So Chelsea will be delighted with that. I mean, that's a massive win for them, and obviously Man City are now sort of on the back foot a little bit.
Yeah, they are. I wonder, had De Bruyne put that ball into the net where he hit the bar from about 5 yards out, had it been a completely different story, they would have gone 2-0 up, and it could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, it wasn't his best game.
You said it was handbags at the end. We've got a comment here from Tim Elliott saying, amazing win for Chelsea, but what happened to City at the end? Appalling discipline. Is Mourinho managing them in disguise? Did you think Fernandinho maybe went a little bit too far at the end there?
I think any time it gets to that kind of situation, it's gone a little bit too far. I mean, you saw the way he grabbed Fabregas by the throat. I mean, it was unnecessary. But like I say, the whole thing's unnecessary. When it gets to that kind of scenes in a football game, none of us want to see it. I mean, we want to see passion, we want to see a bit of fire from the players, but when it gets to that sort of level, it's like I say, it's just unnecessary, really.
Well, one stadium which was known for its passion was Upton Park. We haven't seen much passion or many good results right now at the new Olympic Park for West Ham. Big defeat against Arsenal 5-1. Alexis Sanchez absolutely fantastic in that game. There's talks that Bilic might be meeting the owners and the boards today. It could be kind of crisis talks. What do you think? Is it time for a manager change at West Ham?
I don't know. Hey, like it's difficult with these situations because I mean we see how well West Ham did last year. Did that all go wrong overnight? I mean, is it really a situation where it's time to get rid of Bilic after all the good work that was put in last year? I mean, yes, it's not been good this year, and yeah, the superstitious ones out there will say, look, we need to get out of this stadium, we need to move somewhere else. But I don't think it's time just yet. I think if it gets to a point when it's untenable and there doesn't seem to be any sort of improvement, then maybe there is no choice but to change the manager. But at this stage, I think it would be a little bit shooting from the hip to get rid of him, and especially when they, like I say, when they did so well last year. I think it can't be a fluke. I don't think that they did well last year just by chance. But if we get sort of past Christmas and things haven't started to get better, then maybe they will have to look at getting rid of Bilic and bringing someone else in.
Well, one team which is renowned for getting rid of their managers whenever they fancy it is Real Madrid. But since Zinedine Zidane has taken over, it's been smelling of roses, winning the Champions League on this. I think it's now 32 games unbeaten now for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Getting that late draw at Barcelona in the Nou Camp. They were 1-0 down, and that late header from Sergio Ramos. How much of a psychological blow do you think this will be to Barcelona in the title race, and how much confidence do you think it might give Real Madrid now?
Yeah, I suppose it's difficult to say. I mean, it'll feel like 3 points really for Real Madrid. I think you see by the way the fans reacted. I mean, obviously a lot of South African fans do support Barca or Real, and a lot of the Real fans here are basically celebrating this one as a win. I mean, Sergio Ramos is always one for the big occasion. He loves an important goal. So I think as a psychological boost, it'll be a bigger boost for Real Madrid than it will be a loss for Barca. I don't think Barca will be too caught up by. I mean, obviously it will feel like points drop for them. I mean, they were moments away from victory, but like I say, I don't think it's too big a game. I've always said, like, over the course of the season, it's not the points you pick up against the big teams that really make the difference. It's the draws away at small clubs that you're meant to win that will decide the title really. And obviously, if you look at Real Madrid, like you say, I mean, it's 33 games I think now unbeaten, and I think that Zidane's doing something right. I was with Christian Carumbo this weekend, who obviously played with Zidane. They played at Real together and played at France together, and he was saying that this isn't a fluke with Zizou. He studied for this. He didn't just sort of rest on his laurels and say, "Look, I was a great player. I'm going to be a great manager." He went and studied. He made sure that he developed himself as a coach before taking on the role. Obviously, spent time at the Castilla as well with the youngsters, and it's great. It's great to see. I mean, we do often see these great players who have incredible football careers and try it as a manager, and it doesn't quite work out for him. So it's nice to see Zidane sort of making the transition into being a manager, and it's going great for him so far.
Yeah, even if he does nothing else, he's won the Champions League as coach of them, so that's a pretty good record in itself. You know, you can think of other managers down the years, Diego Maradona, who weren't particularly good when they were on the bench compared to them as players.
Yeah.
So Joe, we've got to talk to you about football in South Africa. It's not going very well for the champions right now, is it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Sundowns won the Champions League, the first team in South Africa to do that since Orlando Pirates in 1995. So they're dwindling down the table a little bit because they've got a load of catch-up games to play. They're a few behind everyone else, and they're flying out to Japan today for the Club World Cup. So it's not going to get any better for them anytime soon in terms of the league. And then we've got Kaizer Chiefs, who they won the league not last year, the year before, and a year before the year before that. So they've won 2 of the last 4, and they're 7th now. I think they haven't won a game in 7 games. They lost 3-1 this weekend after being 1-0 up. So it's all going a little bit topsy turvy in the league here. It's I mean, as a neutral, it's fantastic, and we've got Cape Town City, who are top of the league. They only formed this year, so I mean, they're doing a little bit of a Leicester City or a Leipzig. And it's brilliant. Like, I mean, one thing I do think is fantastic about what Leicester did is they've given hope to people. They've given hope to clubs to think, this isn't just a for now thing. We can make something of this. And Cape Town City this weekend, they played Wits, who were Bidvest Wits, who were the one of the title favourites this year. Played them at Wits, and they did a little bit of a Bournemouth on them. They scored in the last minute winner. So it's all very, very exciting here. I think we've got 2 teams who are sitting in the top 2 positions in the league who nobody really expected to be there, and the teams that were expected to challenge are sitting below them. And it's, like I say, it's great to see.
How big and important was that African Champions League victory? And you know, you've been there 5 years. You've been there since the World Cup in 2010. How has football improved and developed in that time?
Yeah, I mean, the Champions League win was huge. I mean, if you go online and you look at the response from South Africa in terms of what it means to win that trophy, it's been a long time coming. It's a trophy that has eluded South African teams for over 20 years now. And we say here, obviously, you get a star on your shirt when you win the Champions League, and up until this point, there's only been Orlando Pirates to have one. So Sundowns fans especially are really reveling in this, and Pitso Masimone, the head coach there, is loving it as well because he's the first South African coach to have won the tournament. So it's big for the club, it's big for the country. It's just been a really, really good vibe, and they're playing some wonderful football as well. In terms of the football they play, there's nobody in the league better than Mamelodi Sundowns at the minute. And as for the sort of the growth of football, I mean, there's a lot of money here now. There's the league here is one of the best marketed leagues in Africa, one of the highest paying leagues in Africa. And I'm not sure that's entirely down to the World Cup, but the World Cup definitely helped.
Yeah.
So it's a league now where we do have people coming from all over the world. I mean, we've got guys here from England, from Australia, from New Zealand, obviously all over Africa as well. It's a league where you can come and make some good money now. It's a growing league, and like I say, especially financially, it's a league that is definitely on the up.
And of course, everyone's still talking about that amazing goal from last week from the goalkeeper, Joe. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of strings to that bow with Masuluke's goal. I mean, first and foremost, it was an overhead kick, which everybody loves. Secondly, it was a goalkeeper in the last minute to equalise. I mean, it was just it's a fantastic story. But there was also the aspect that I suppose will probably get a little bit lost on the foreign audience that have seen the goal. Is it was against Orlando Pirates, who are one of the biggest clubs in the country. I mean, if you ask Pirates fans, they'll say they're the biggest. So to get that goal in the last minute against Orlando Pirates with an overhead kick is pretty special. Oscar, who the guy who scored, Oscarine, he actually used to be a striker. So he said after the game, he still knows how to find the back of the net when he needs to. He doesn't have a chance as much anymore, but he still knows what he's doing. It was like I say, it's always nice when South African football makes the headlines for the right reasons. I think South Africa as a country does often make the headlines for the wrong reasons, with protests, with political stuff. So as someone who works here, someone who loves this country, it is nice to see things go global with something that's good, and to see that video being shared left, right, and centre. I mean, it's gone properly viral. It's fantastic, and I'm happy for Masuluke as well because Oscar came from a pretty humble background, and it's nice to see him getting some global recognition now.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Well, Joe, it's been so good to hear your thoughts. Just before you go, could you maybe tell us how we can continue to follow your great sports knowledge on Twitter and the various social media platforms, please?
Yeah, if you can find me on Facebook, it's Joe Crann, and then on Twitter and Instagram, it's Yes We Crann, so YesWeCrann. You can find me on there. I do all sorts of statistics and stuff like that, so it'd be great to have you on board.
And I love seeing your picture with Christian Karamba having some ice cream.
Yeah, that was surreal. Very surreal moment for me. We're sat there just about to start the interview, and he says to me, do you want some ice cream? I'm like, yeah, well, I'm never going to say no to ice cream. And he's like, well, we'll sort some out. So I'm sat there interviewing a World Cup winner, European Championship winner over a tub of Haagen-Dazs. So, yeah, it was a pretty good weekend.
That's the best way to do any kind of interview. And next time we do an interview, I'll make sure we both have some ice cream ready. Joe, Yes We Crann on Twitter. Thank you so much for your time today.
Cheers.